Hey everyone, Brian Elliott with Focused Story Films here, and today we're going to be talking about the Mandalorian TV show, specifically Grogu, Din, the finale of Season 2, and where I think it could go from here. Now, obviously, there will be spoilers, so if you have not caught up on the Mandalorian, definitely peace out, go watch it. Come back later. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, obviously, in the final episode, incredibly emotional, we saw Luke Skywalker again, which I did not expect. In fact, I'd highly theorized against it in conversations that I'd had with friends and family about the show. And Luke Skywalker took Grogu to train him, which I'd also highly theorized against in the show. So my track record of getting things right in this show is not great, but I want to theorize anyway because I think some of my general thoughts and opinions about where it's going may still be true in the future. So my general prediction for the show based on the last 2 seasons was that the heart of the show was always going to be Din and Grogu, and Din kind of coming into the role of being a father figure to Grogu as a foundling. Obviously in season 1, Din meets him, and kind of over the course of the 2nd episode, he realizes, this kid is special. And then in the 3rd episode, he really realizes, holy cow, I cannot leave this kid. So he basically throws his guild membership away. He becomes an enemy of the guild. He spends the next few episodes running around the galaxy, running from bounty hunters, trying to survive, and then ends up finally going back to Navarro, confronting the guild, confronting the client, meeting Moff Gideon, and escaping. And then he's told by the armorer that he needs to go and find the Jedi. And so that's his mission for season 2. So at that point, you weren't sure, is he going to find the Jedi? Is the Jedi going to take Grogu? What's going on? But then as season 2 goes on, you can see that Din really starts to accept his role as the father. He tries to teach Grogu how to fix the ship. He tries to help Grogu, educate Grogu, help Grogu kind of learn his manners, not eat the eggs, like he really jumps into that role, and you can really start to see how much he cares for Grogu. And you really, really start to get that sense in the episode where we meet Ahsoka Tano, and you can tell he really doesn't want to give Grogu up to Ahsoka, but he feels like he should. And that's really the point where I thought, okay, he isn't actually going to give up this child, because he was really reluctant to give up the child to Ahsoka. So I really thought when he didn't give the child up to Ahsoka, when she refused it, okay, he's going to have that as a moment to realize, no, I really love this kid. I'm going to keep this kid. Then they went to Tython. Then Grogu got captured. And based on kind of what we saw there, and in the next episode particularly, the lengths that Din was willing to go to rescue Grogu, taking the mask off, and repeating Moff Gideon's lines back to him, where it was, this child means more to me than you'll ever know, all of that. I felt like, okay, there's no way he's giving up this child. He's gonna get the child back, and if a Jedi does show up, he's gonna reject them. So that was like all my thought reasoning, where I thought, okay, he's not going to give up Grogu. But then he did, which, that threw me for a loop. I watched it yesterday morning. I spent a lot of yesterday just trying to wrap my mind around all the craziness that happened in the show. Not just that, but all the stuff. And I'll definitely be getting into that in other videos. As far as Grogu's concerned, where I think it's going to go is I think Grogu is going to get some level of training from Luke. I don't know exactly how it's going to go. I don't know if Luke is going to train him and then eventually give him back to Din. I don't know if he is going to resist the training and Luke is going to give up on him, or if Din's just going to, realize, hey, this kid belongs with me, and is going to go get him from Luke at some point. But I definitely feel like Grogu's story is not over. Obviously, we have the issue of where is he in the sequel trilogy. If he stayed with Luke for years, he is killed in the Jedi Temple. I feel like that's not the tenor of what Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are bringing to Star Wars. I don't feel like this is, a Game of Thrones-esque television show where just anybody can die at any point. They've actually been very sparing in the deaths, none including stormtroopers. Those guys die, by the handful. But as far as like main characters and stuff, this is not a show, a really dark show. This is a show, it's very heartwarming, very family oriented. And so that's where a lot of my feeling comes from, that like Grogu can't stay with Luke. It just doesn't make sense. I don't think that the show works incredibly well that way. I also feel like for Din's character development to continue on the trajectory that it is, we need Grogu, because it's very likely that in the time that we're not going to see Grogu with Din, that he's going to devolve a little bit, become a little bit darker, a little bit more brutal. Obviously, when he was rescuing Grogu, he was pretty brutal, but kind of go back to more of that old, like what we saw in Season 1, Episode 1, where everything is just a job, and his morals are a little more questionable. I feel like that could be the direction that just he's naturally going to turn without Grogu. So I feel like we really need Grogu to be there longer to really cement who Din is. Also, like, as far as where do things fit with the sequel trilogy, why did Grogu never show up there? I mean, obviously the two options are Grogu dies at some point before the sequel trilogy happens, or he's off on some adventures with Din in a distant part of the galaxy, and they're not involved at all with the First Order. Or Disney could just completely wipe the sequels from canon. That's always a possibility as well. But I don't think that they will. I think basically we're kind of working within that framework. In my opinion, based on how much love Grogu has from the fandom, that Disney is not going to want him to meet such a brutal, gruesome end. So that's my in-story theories for why I think that Grogu is coming back pretty soon, maybe halfway through season 3. It could be a little bit later, hopefully maybe a little sooner, but that's really my theories around that. I also think from a real world perspective that Grogu, because he is so insanely popular, that Disney would not have him meet a sticky end, and I can't see them being done with him on screen. That would be like removing Baby Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, they're just not gonna remove that character because he's making them so much money. I mean, clearly merchandising, a lot of merchandising with this character, and I just can't see them greenlighting even an off-screen Grogu death anytime soon. I feel like there's a lot more stories with him to come. My hope is that I'm right and they are in The Mandalorian, because I think that duo works really, really well. I love seeing kind of Din's slow breakdown into being really sweet with Grogu, and just kind of realizing that he really cares for this kid, So that's my hope, that's my prediction, that's my reasoning behind it. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will catch all of you very soon.